everyone's looking for the young guy. They're looking for McVay. I think take a shot out Todd Bowles, get him a second shot at head coach, and see if he can do it.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
It's crazy. And our kids will know how great Tom Brady is because he's going to be playing.
Yes, it is 15.0%.
That's what the Yankees brought Garrett Cole to do.
He was a 6th-round pick. This is a fairy tale story that's being written in front of our eyes.
People like to call them their JV team, and they just stole one of their better players.
They didn't struggle against the Padres. The Padres didn't really put up a fight in most of the games.
Jerry Jones, hope you're listening.
Hi, I'm Landon Bowe, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. We are finally doing some power rankings, and the man that I'm curious, and I'm going to just ask this straight up. Austin, do you have any extra bobbleheads, like 10,000 or 1,000 of them?
No, I don't think I do.
Just thought I'd ask. We're trying to help as Yager. The Penguins lost. I think it's 1,000, not 10,000. Maybe it is 10,000. Bobbleheads of Yamir or Yager.
Yeah, it's Yaromir. Yeah, you were close. Or
Sweet.
basically, so. Yeah, I didn't see that, but they're retiring his jersey.
Okay, and I believe that's the guy that plays on Fantasy Football Expert. Or does he own the team? Landon?
He owns and plays. So
he owns and plays. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to ask it. For Landon, if you don't know what we're talking about, Landon, I cannot pronounce the name of the hockey team, but he plays on the team that is owned and Yager plays on. And, of course, Landon helped us with some fantasy, and we look forward. Follow him on Instagram. I believe it's Landon Bowe. But, yeah. So we'll get back into our power rankings, and this one, I'm curious to see how this goes on your number one team. But yeah, this is after a deadline, and of course, these teams have made moves, and we've seen some of these players play.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a good time to take a step back and look at how all the teams have really settled down. Because this is, besides for some LTIR business, this is really what we're going to see come playoff time.
Yeah, so I think I'll just go with my first five, starting at 32. I have the Blackhawks, Senators, Ducks, Sharks, and Canadians. Right? Yep, that's 5 teams. So I have the Canadians at 28.
Okay. We're pretty close. So my 32 is Blackhawks and then Sharks and then Ducks and then Blue Jackets and then Canadians. How close is that again to you?
So you and I think flipped. You have the Senators higher, right? Well, you have them.
I didn't list them yet.
Okay. I have the Senators at 31, so that's our difference. So who was the?
So I had Blackhawks, Sharks, Ducks, Blue Jackets, Canadians.
Okay, you have the Blue Jackets. Okay, I haven't said the Blue Jackets yet, but yeah, I have Ducks at 30, Sharks at 29. So you have Blue Jackets at 31.
I have them at 29.
Oh, you have them at 29. My bad.
Yeah, I have Sharks at 31.
Okay, yeah. So it's just we're differing on that. So let's go 20. No, it'd be 27 to 23, right?
Yes. Senators, Coyotes, Sabres, Kraken, and Flames.
Okay. We're starting to differ. At 27, I have Arizona. The Coyotes. 26, I have Columbus. 25, I have the Devils. 24, I have the Sabres. And 23, I have Pittsburgh.
Wow, you're low on Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I just don't really believe in them, and they've struggled. They struggled against Oilers, and we'll just have to see. And so you had, have you mentioned the Senators?
Yeah, they were my 27.
Okay, all right. So not too bad. And you and I are around the same for Arizona, but looks like you haven't said the Devils or Pittsburgh, so I'll go into 22. 22, I'll go Calgary, 21 Capitals, 20 Blues, 19 Minnesota.
So we're going 22 to 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so my 22 is the Wild, and then I have Devils at 21, Penguins at 20, Capitals at 19, and 18 is Islanders.
18 is Islanders. Okay. My 18 is Seattle, so I'm higher on Seattle than you, and you're higher on Pittsburgh than me. And then let's just go to 16 because 16 is that would be a playoff team. Right.
What was your? Do we do 17 though?
No, we haven't done 17. So I'm
Oh,
just going to
okay.
say, we'll just say 17. My 17 is Islanders.
Okay, my 17 is the Flyers.
Okay. Okay. Which goes into my 16. Yeah, we're kind of bouncing all over the place, but 16, we'll go 16 to 13 because those would be the two wildcard teams for each. Or
Yeah, sure, that works.
yeah. So 16, I have Flyers. 15, I have Detroit. 14, Tampa, and then 13 is Vegas.
Okay, so my 16 is the Predators, then Blues, then Red Wings, then Vegas.
All right. So I am higher on Nashville than you.
Where
And
you had the Predators at 15?
I don't. No, I haven't mentioned the Predators
Oh,
yet.
okay.
I'm higher on them. They kind of floated up the ranks as I did this video or did this before. But okay, yeah, Vegas, you and I seem to be in agreement on 13, and it's because of the LTIR situation. Right now, they're not a great team. They're struggling. But if they make it into the playoffs, they're probably going to be one of the favorites, just given how LTIR works.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So now we are at 13. Do you want to go 12 to 10 or
Yeah, we can do 12 to 10. So my 12 is Tampa. I think you had them at 14, right?
14? Yep.
Yeah. Then I have the Kings. And then at 10, I have the Oilers.
Okay. 12, I have the Kings. 11, I have the Stars. And then 10, I have the Jets.
Wow, low on the Jets, even though right now they're number one in their division by points percentage.
Yeah. I'll get to the team above them, just beat them. So, spoiler, I have Nashville. Nashville is currently on a 13-game point streak, and I trust their goalie more than the
And
Stars, or that's why Nashville. No, I'm not. Nashville and Winnipeg are above the Stars is because of their goalies right now.
why
Ottinger
is
is not
why are the Predators above the Jets?
because the Predators just beat the Jets and they're riding that hot streak.
Is that enough for the discrepancy in points and points percentage?
Yes, I'm gonna say right now. If right now, because they just beat them and they're riding that hot streak, so as of right now, I would say the Predators are better than the Jets.
Okay, I wouldn't make that same claim, but I understand it.
Yeah. So it looks like you haven't mentioned the Stars yet, but I'll go why I have the Stars so low or low for some people. As we've talked about how big it is for the Stars. The Stars defense is not great. They gave up. I don't know how they lost that game to Florida. I was watching it and they just kept giving up shots. They were up three goals and they gave up four. I don't think it even went to overtime against Florida. While Florida is a good team, Dallas was just dominating. To me, Dallas is inconsistent. Dallas has also struggled against some of the worst teams. I believe they lost to Anaheim on trade deadline day, and they cut it close against the Sharks, but they still won both times. They were down 6-3, won in overtime 7-6. And it's just Winnipeg and Nashville both have the better goalies, and then Nashville got the edge because they beat Winnipeg.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. Did you say your 9 through 7?
Yeah, I said my 9.
Okay, and then 8 and 7.
I have not said that. My 8 is the Oilers. 7 is Boston.
Wow, 7 Boston. Why do you feel so high? You are a little bit higher on me than the Oilers, even though they're comparable to a lot of the teams that we said before based on like points percentage and stuff like that.
Yeah, Oilers. I am just believing in McDavid and Draisaitl, and I believe their goalie situation is starting to get better. So that gave me the edge. And then Boston's low because they're struggling a little bit, or they were struggling. I know they just lost. And then it, yeah, I have Boston at 7. But they'll figure it out. It's just right now at this moment, I think Boston isn't playing their best, even though if we're going like, yeah, I think I'll stay right there.
Yeah, because if you're looking at points, they're still third and barely.
Yeah,
They're 1 point back. So I don't even have them. I still have them in my top 5 clearly. So
that's
uh,
fair.
my my 9 is the Stars. My 8 is the Avalanche. My 7 is the Maple Leafs.
Why do you have the Avalanche at 8?
I still need to see them continue to win. They are tied with the Stars based on points and points percentage, which is tied for second in the division. They're starting to play uh, well, but they still have to prove it long term. I'm concerned about the injuries they have. I know that Francois is hurt, and they have some other guys that are going to be out for a while.
All right, so now we're at 6. Do you want to go 6 through 4?
So 6, I have the Jets. 5, I have the Hurricanes, and 4, I have Boston.
Okay, yeah, 4. Why do you have the Boston over the Hurricanes?
I just trust them more as a team, and I that's a big reason. Also, they have a better points percentage, all that stuff. They have 7 more points in only 2 more games. It's not been a great amount good things over the last 5 games for either of those teams, but over the last 5 games, they're both 3-2. So it's not like either team is really bad over the last 5 games, but neither of them are extremely dominant.
Okay, my 6 is Toronto. Goal scoring, they've just been dominating, and we're a little bit hotter than Boston when I made the list. And then now we go to Vancouver at my 5. Vancouver, I think, is incredible. It's just I need to see a little bit more from them. They kind of just burst onto the scene while they are playing great right now. These other teams have a little bit more of a track record.
Yeah, that's what made
In the
me a little bit
yeah,
confused about why you had Boston as low as you did, because
gotcha.
they are, when you compare Toronto and Boston, they're both 4-3 in their last 7. So it's, again, both teams not dominant, but I just don't trust. The goaltending for Toronto has been okay at times and bad at other times. Joseph Woll's been their best guy, but he's also played the least amount of games for them, so that's concerning. They only have a save percentage overall as a team is at 900, while the Boston is a much higher rate. So I just think it's more sustainable. Uh, I'm just a little bit concerned about how not Boston, how the Maple Leafs will perform goalie wise. And I think that's the reason why they are, again, 9 points below Boston at the moment.
Yeah, that's a fair point, and it's really close between Boston and Toronto. I just gave a slight edge. But yeah, you bring up a lot of good points. And yeah, we'll just have to see with Toronto. And then I mentioned my 5. And then, so now do you want to go
What's your
4 and
4?
3?
I already did my
4?
4. My
Oh,
4 is Boston.
Oh, yeah, your 4 is Boston. My 4 is the Rangers. Their team very similar to Vancouver. However, they have a little bit more of a better track record, and they've kind of burst. I just trust them scoring wise more than Vancouver, and goaltending with Shesterkin. Is that the Islanders? No.
Yeah, Shesterkin is Rangers.
Okay, cool.
Sorokin
So
is Islanders.
Sorokin. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I always confuse those New York teams. But yeah, thanks. So 4 is my Rangers, and then I guess I'll go in my 3-2-1.
Okay.
My 3 is the Avalanche. So the Avalanche, to me, I trust they'll get through the injuries, and they are performing better. And a lot, I'm expecting a lot from them in the deadline from what they got at the deadline. I think it just really boosts them up, and they're starting to play much better. And then we go to my 2, which is the Hurricanes. I like what they did at the deadline well, and I just valued the defense. Just their defense has been incredible. I'm just worried about the scoring, but they've been playing well so far. And then we have number 1 is the Panthers. The Panthers are just a buzzsaw. I like the addition of Tarasenko, but even before that, they were cruising, and it looks like they were a year later of during the regular season of what they wanted to get from Kachuk. I think Kachuk Reinhart is leading in power play goals, and then I believe Kachuk is leading, or no, he's not number 1 in goals. But they both have great goal scorers um, on the power play and in 5-on-5. So that's why they're my number 1.
I'm still a little bit surprised with the Avalanche because I know that they have past experience, but their goaltending again it's not been great this year. Gorgiev, who started a large majority of their games, only has a 901 save percentage, and as an entire team, they have a 903. I just don't trust the goaltending. A lot of these top teams, I do trust their goaltending, and that's why I think I have the Avalanche all the way up down to 8, and then Maple Leafs at 7. I think all the teams above that, between Panthers, Rangers, Canucks, so that's my top 3. So I have Canucks at 3, Rangers at 2, Panthers at 1. I have more faith in the goaltending around those teams because between a 920 save percentage on the with the Panthers has just been amazing. You look at just Boston save percentage of 916, and I know the Avalanche are scoring goals at a very very high rate. They have the most goals for. They also are they're okay in goals against. I don't trust that if they were going against a high powered offense that they would actually be able to not allow that many goals because they have had a tendency to do that all year. While I do trust the other teams like Canucks and Rangers because I do really. Shesterkin he's had another great year this year. A 914 save percentage is good, and they have Jonathan Quick as a backup who has a lot of playoff experience with a 917 save percentage. And then the Canucks, Demko's been amazing this year with a 917. So I don't trust necessarily the goaltending for the Avalanche at the moment, and I think that could be their downfall.
Yeah, you bring up good points. Comparing the Rangers with their goalie, and I believe the Avalanche will figure it out, and I'm just not sure if the Rangers can keep it up. Because we saw what happened last year. But it seems like we're in agreement. The Panthers are the number 1 team right now.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of a lot of things, including, like I said, goaltending. It's the problem with the Avalanche is the team can't figure out goaltending. That's a big problem. It's the only sport that we really follow where really 1, maybe 2, because you have a second guy who'd slot in at the goaltending position, where only 1 or 2 guys can really figure it out for you. So that's not really something that you can expect to get a very high increase come playoff time unless you have someone who hasn't played all year, who's either injured or got brought up at the end of the year, like the Oilers did a couple years ago. But it's hard. It's hard to make up for goaltending. And when you go back and look at the Avalanche when they actually won the Cup, their goaltending was amazing, and that's something that I think is very consistent amongst high contenders. Is when they are competitive or when they are number 1 seed or winning championships. Like Darcy Kemper had a 921 save percentage and Pavel Francouz had a 916, and like that is elite. And that's why I think the Stars, for example, like we talked before, need to get Otter back to who he was last season before the playoffs, because that's really what can set you apart from good to be great.
Yeah, if the Stars, if they get Otter from what he was before the playoffs when he was just on that streak, I think there were a myriad of things they could go far just because this offense looks incredible. And Tyler Sagan's supposed to come back, and then you have Stankoven too. That Stankoven Johnston line is with Ben is doing fantastic. I'm just worried about their defense, and they just seem to crumble. But there's some signs where I think it could happen. It's just they need to put those pieces together. And you could say the same thing for the Avalanche. And I'm trying to think what other teams, if they put it together. I think Jets, if they figure out their offense, they could put it together and go far.
100%. I completely agree, especially because they're still number one in their division based on points percentage. So because they're 2 points less than both the Stars and Avalanche, but they played two less games. So just one of those games needs to be a win, and one is an overtime loss, and they're ahead. So they they are still number one in their division. They've allowed the fewest goals in the league. Or I guess now that the Panthers are, but they played uh, about the same amount of games. So it's really those two teams with the best goaltending in the league, and when you also account for defense. So uh, Laurent Brossoit and Hellebuck have been crazy good this year, 922 save percentage combined, and that's comparable to the Panthers. So if the offense can just get a little bit going, I definitely think that the Jets are a scary team because, like I said, you can't answer for good goaltending. We've seen that happen before when a Carey Price just carries the Canadians all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So it takes a lot, but only one or two guys can really contribute on that side, and every team is really hoping that their goalie or goalies can step up coming that time of year.
Yeah, and we'll have to see, and we'll keep you updated as we're starting to really get close to the playoffs. And that's all we got. So I'll toss this over to you, Austin, to close it out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Which teams did we mess up on? Whose list do you agree with more? And please catch us in our next video.